in your lives. So with that, I would love to introduce Stephanie Hessler, who is a mindset and performance coach. She helps high achieving corporate leaders and business owners who are tired of playing small to rapidly advance their careers and create a vision others want to follow without sacrificing the lives they dream of, which is right up our alley. Stephanie is the creator of the Bliss Method, a 5-step process for profound personal and professional transformation. And she guides clients through a 12-month powerful coaching journey called the Bliss Accelerator. Previously, Stephanie worked in the investment business for 16 years, including almost 10 years on Wall Street. So welcome, Stephanie. We're so glad you're here. And let's jump right into it. Talk to us about visualization, what it is, why it's important, all the good stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's just start jumping in. And first of all, Tara, thank you so much. It's been wonderful to get to know you these recent months, and thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to be here with others and learning together. And visualization is such an important topic. It's so vital in the success journey. It's something I think most people know about, but maybe they don't hold it in the importance that it really deserves. So I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to talk to you today about visualization. So let's break it down. You know, what exactly is visualization? You've probably all heard about it, but what is it exactly? So in the context that we're talking about it today, in terms of, you know, success and achieving your goals, it's really a mindset practice. It's a mindset practice that's very specific, and it's different from, say, meditation. And the way it's different is that it's something that, like meditation, you're doing it at will. You're consciously choosing to do it, and you're tapping into your higher faculties. Now, your higher faculties are like your will, imagination, memory, perception, intuition, reasoning. These are higher faculties that we all have, but we don't always learn to use them. And when you're visualizing, you're specifically tapping into your will, which is your capacity to focus and concentrate, and also you're tapping into imagination, right? Imagination is one of your higher faculties as well. It's that capacity that we all have to think in pictures. The fact is that we're always thinking in pictures. We're just not doing it consciously. Most of the time, this is happening unconsciously. So visualization is that you're consciously using this mindset practice in order to support yourself in achieving your goals and achieving what it is that you want. And just to make it maybe concrete for everyone, I love to give the example of like Michael Phelps or other great athletes. I wish I could just think of a woman athlete off the top of my head, but that's who came up to mind was Michael Phelps, because he's one of the most successful gold medal Olympic athletes. And he visualized himself succeeding, receiving the gold medals, going through challenges. So I just wanted to add that as an example of visualization in the real world as well. Oops.
I love that. Yeah, I was on mute. Sorry. I love that. And I was just taking some notes because when you talked about will and imagination, what came to mind for me is hope. One of the things that we know from the data that resonant leaders continuously are able to tap into is hope. And when you talked about will and imagination, almost the marrying of those two to me is how I would define hope. You know, the knowledge that you can make the future better, that you can make the future different, that you have that own personal ability to do that. Do you agree with that? Or what are your thoughts on that and how visualization relates to hope?
Absolutely. I love that you brought that up because hope is such a beautiful emotion, right? It's so optimistic if you think about it. It gets us also really thinking towards the future. And even though we know we only have the present, we want to ignite that excitement about the future in order to get us going in the present, right?
Yeah,
so I just want to take what you've said though, and just maybe take it a step further. And that is that what I want for everyone to really zero in on is that we want to take hope a step further. We want to take hope a step further in your visualization, and you want to make it faith and belief. Okay? Because hoping and wishing are not enough. We've got to go to faith and belief. Faith and belief is that knowing, that absolute knowing. And the thing is, as you know, we're working here with the subconscious mind. We're working with the mind and the subconscious mind. And one of the things that visualization does, when you build for yourself a visualization practice, and before we close today, I want to be sure to leave everyone with this really super simple 5-step daily visualization practice that only takes 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be a huge time commitment every day. But what's happening with visualization, just like with meditation, just different angle, is that you're bringing order to your mind. You're bringing order into your mind. Because unfortunately, if we just let our minds go, often they can run amok, right? We can be imagining worst case scenarios, for example. And you're also dealing with the subconscious mind and the power of the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind takes you at your word, right? So we want to be sure that, yes, hope for sure, but even that step further, that it's belief.
Can I jump in here? Just because for me, and I don't think you and I have talked about this, so I'm sorry to be throwing this out there, but for me, faith is a loaded word. Faith brings up, it's a trigger word for various reasons. And that being said, I have come to make peace with it. When somebody told me it stands for, it stands for allowing in the how. And if you think about that acronym, and in the event it is in any way a loaded word for you, if you think about that acronym and you think about it outside of perhaps a religious context, which is for me where it's a trigger, right? If I think about faith that way, it works, right? The belief works for me. And when I think about faith as for allowing in the how, I'm like, okay, I can get on board with that. Like, again, I'm still processing some stuff there, but I love that. And the taking of hope a step further. Also, those of you that know me know I talk about mindset all of the time. I talk about meditation all of the time. And I love how visualization complements that. And I would even say that it's probably likely that if you have a meditation practice and you have a visualization practice, you are going to see synergistic effects in each.
Absolutely. Yes. And I know, Tara, you're a big proponent of meditation because you did a beautiful talk in my group that was, in large part about calming your mind, and bringing that calmness to the mind is so very important, right? So it is absolutely synergistic with visualization. And, let's not use the word faith then, let's use belief. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, because I didn't even think that could bring up kind of
it might just be me. It's entirely possible it's just me. But if you look at for allowing in the how, it works. So beautiful.
Yeah. But going back to what we were saying about your subconscious mind takes you at your word, right? Your subconscious mind is like a garden. It whatever you plant into it is going to grow. And think about, if you're a gardener, or even if you're not, if you're planting roses into your garden beds and nourish them and you take care of them, they're going to grow into magnificent plants. But if you don't take care of them, the weeds will start to come up and the weeds take over your garden and they choke out that beautiful garden. Well, your subconscious mind is exactly like the fertile soil of a garden. Whatever you plant in your subconscious mind is going to materialize for you in your own life. And unconsciously, most people are visualizing anyway because we're always thinking in pictures. That's how we think. We're always mentally rehearsing, right? We're might not be aware of it. So if you think of your mind and your subconscious mind as this very fertile terrain that is going to deliver out in the real world to you whatever you're planting into it, how very important it is to consciously plant those images of what it is that you really want. because we don't want the weeds growing
Mhm.
in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. And this is one of the reasons that visualization is so vitally important, so that you're planting those images of the future you, of the success that you do want.
Yeah, I just, there's so much about that I love. And, we always, as you say, we are always thinking in images, right? And if we are not consciously choosing to visualize in the forward direction, we are instead possibly envisioning the worst case scenario. And that is constantly just a background noise in that very fertile soil. Like you said, we don't understand the tremendous power of our subconscious mind. It is incredible what it can put forth and what we can tap into there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And right along that line, your mind, I truly believe, and this is substantiated in science, especially in the work of one particular scientist, Maxwell Maltz, who wrote the book Psycho-Cybernetics. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's like an owner's manual for the mind.
It's wonderful.
And one of the things that he describes is that your mind is designed as a success mechanism. But that means that you've got to consciously work with it as a success mechanism. Because if we don't consciously give our mind those images that we want, unconsciously, we can be using it as a failure mechanism, right? Unconsciously, we can be putting in or allowing those images. And unfortunately, for a lot of us, we all have beliefs and fixed ideas deep in our subconscious mind that are part of our mental programming that who knows how far back in our lives they go, right? They were put there by other people, but now as adults, it's our responsibility to change them, right? To change those mental images that aren't working for us and replace them with mental images that are. And this is where visualization comes in. You want to see in your mind those images of what you want. And, just to emphasize the power of imagination, if you think of everything that, like I'm on an Apple laptop, I'm sure each of you is on some kind of a device, right? Well, think about it. All of that started as an idea in somebody's imagination. Tara, this talk started as an idea it was an idea in imagination, and now we've moved it into form, right? We often forget the power, not only of the subconscious mind, but also of that higher faculty of imagination. It is so, so powerful.
And
right?
for those of us in the corporate environment where things can get and feel very rote and very, what to expect, it's all going to be the same. The more that we can tap into our imagination and practice, what Stephanie's going to be talking about with visualization, the more chance we have of using our imagination for other things and actually really truly shifting the dial in what we do in the corporate world. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm so glad you brought in, the actual because I know most of your audience is in the corporate world. And I know that for me, the years that I worked in the corporate world, I hadn't yet really learned these concepts. And so what happened was I lived so much as a function of conditions and circumstances,
Mm-hmm.
right? The conditions and circumstances maybe got me stressed, depressed, feeling like I didn't have a roadmap for my success. And it was only when I started learning these concepts and also falling in love with the idea of what was possible for me in the future and realizing that, our future starts in our imagination, right? That we've got to start picturing ourselves the way we want to be, that you literally have to become the person first. You've got to become the successful corporate leader you intend for yourself. It starts in imagination. And like we were saying, you're mentally rehearsing anyway.
Okay.
Let's take control of your life and design it the way you want, and begin that process by visualizing yourself, the future you, and really seeing that vividly in your mind with visualization.
So how do we do it?
Yeah. Well, the first step is exactly what we're doing here, which is building the awareness, right? And like you were saying, it's synergistic with meditation because, like meditation, it helps us, or meditation is important also because it helps you to calm your mind, right? And visualization means you're using your will, that's your capacity to focus and concentrate, because you want to, at will, you want to consciously zero in on that image that you want of you in with, reaching your dreams, reaching your goals. You want to be able to see that image in imagination. And in the beginning, you might feel some resistance, right? But that's normal. You just have to keep at it. So what I want to share with you is an approach that is super, super easy. It's really, really easy. And I actually do this 6 times a day. I can talk to you about in a minute why I do this 6 times a day. But what I recommend to my clients is that they should be doing this at least once in the morning and once in the evening. And probably the best thing you're going to love about it is that it only takes 5 minutes. And it's really, really fun too. And you'll learn in a minute why it's so much fun as well. So it's called the 5-step goal and visualization daily exercise. And the first step is for you to become, clear about your goals. Okay. So that is kind of a one-time exercise. And Tara, I'm sure you do that with your clients anyway, right? So that it's important to get really clear about your goals, like where you want to be, say, a year from now or 2 years from now. And then the second step is to pick 1 or maybe 2 or 3 end scenes, okay? Pick a couple of end scenes. And by end scenes, I mean, like, let's say that one of your goals is that you want to be promoted from a director to a managing director. I'm just using the language of my former industry, which was the investment industry, okay? So that you would then see yourself, like an end scene could be seeing yourself being congratulated by the senior leadership of your organization, announcing to everyone, in a group of people, highlighting you, announcing your accomplishments, okay? So that could be an example of an end scene. And you see how this is all happening in imagination. It hasn't happened yet in reality, but you're almost like creating a little movie. That's how you can think about it. It's like a little movie, an end scene of an aspect of your dream, of your goal, okay? And then you visualize it. And here's the part that makes it fun. Pick some music that you love, okay? And the best is if you can pick music that doesn't have lyrics, okay? Because the lyrics are going to potentially distract you. So music, like I happen to love the Irish composer Enya, and she has a lot of music that actually just is music without words, okay? The theme songs from movies can often be it's got to be music that's really inspiring, like da 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 da, right? Where it's like victorious kind of music. And this is what makes it fun, because for 5 minutes, you get to have this journey with this uplifted music where you are visualizing yourself in an end scene that has you as the star, where you're actually achieving your goals. And the thing about the music, and this is key about visualization, is it's gonna cause you strong emotion. And emotion is vital. You've got to feel it. You really have to feel it. Okay, so it's the seeing, the feeling, and going back to Tara, what we were saying a little bit earlier, believing. You're seeing, feeling, and believing. And what's happening is during those 5 minutes that you're visualizing with that beautiful music that's victorious and uplifting, for those 5 minutes, you are just in this bath of visualization and really beautiful emotion. And the thing is, your subconscious mind is in every cell of your body. And feeling, emotion, is the language of the subconscious mind. So that's the other reason that you want to have emotion and the music. And something that is really important while you're visualizing, even after you're visualized, do not, and I know this is hard for high achieving corporate women, this used to be a real problem for me, is let go of the analytics. Well, how is this going to happen? Is this realistic? Enjoy that 5 minutes visualization. Love it. Just enjoy it. Be there, because the how will work itself out. Okay, you've got to stay focused on your goal. And then step 5 is you've got to be consistent. You've got to do this daily. And I'm happy to type up the 5 steps and drop it into the chat in your Facebook group if that helps, Tara.
That sounds wonderful. Yes, thank you. That's great.
Anyone want to guess why this is so much fun to do?
Anyone on the line?
Yeah, I feel like you get to dream like you used to do when you were a kid. Like I used to do that a lot when I was a kid. It's I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, it's something adults just naturally lose because of what we experience in society, unfortunately, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or it's like reading a good book and picturing yourself in the scene and kind of being part of it.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah, you're right, because as adults, we're told to shut down our imagination. Well, as children, we're told to stop daydreaming and dreaming, right? But sorry, imagination is where your creation, where the design of your future, it starts in imagination, right? So yes, you're dreaming, you're allowing your imagination like a child. What also makes it really fun, to be honest, is the music, because music, the right music uplifts you, right? And so you're not only visualizing, but then you've got this wonderful music that's supporting your vision. So, now, like if I happen to be, say, in a store and Enya's music comes on, I'm like, boom, I'm going right into my visualization, right? So it is important. Take a little time. Like I've heard, I don't use this personally, but I have some friends who use the theme song from Avatar, from the movie Avatar. Is, so find something that really resonates with you, right? That lifts you up. And music is vibration and everything is frequency, right?
Yeah, no, I love this. And, when you were talking about, for those of us that, are high achieving corporate women, it's sometimes very hard to distance ourselves from the analytics and the how. And this is where I really see synergies between visualization and meditation, because the meditation is teaching you to be present with exactly where you are right then, not wondering how to get there. No, your exercise in the visualization is to be dreaming, is to be imagining, is to be starring in your own future movie, right? And that just sounds fun. It sounds amazing. And again, it's training the brain, and it is using that very fertile subconscious soil that it permeates our body, right? And planting the right seeds in it. I think it's beautiful. It's amazing.
Yes. And you see also how there are just no excuses. 5 minutes, like you can do 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. And you heard me say, I'm doing this 6 times a day myself.
Amazing.
For the reason that, we all know, what we mentioned this a few minutes ago, to achieve that next level in your corporate career, in your life, you have to become the person first. You've got to become the woman first. So by doing this visualization, and the more you do it, right? Now, I'm not doing it, 50 times a day, but here's what happens. The more you do it, the more you're accelerating becoming that person. Okay. The more you literally step into, like you were saying, you become the star of your life. Your visualization is like a movie. You literally step into character, because you're just permeating your body with these images and these feelings. It's very, very, very powerful.
It seems so powerful. So I'm so glad you shared this. Let's open it up for questions. I've got one, and then I'll try and shut up so that if Claire and Elisa have something they can ask. And as well, I'll check the chat and see if anything's coming in over the stream. So would you recommend starting with a goal or an end vision, the end scene? I had to look at my notes, but the end scene that's somewhat more obtainable, like say I have a dream to, be the head of a multi-million-dollar corporation. And there's a step along the way, if not many steps along the way to getting there. Would you encourage me not to visualize that, but to visualize the next step?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that is such a great question. So I would say you can switch it around for yourself. Okay. I mean, you could do one morning, you visualize yourself at that highest level. Another morning, maybe you do the step, because your mind distinguishes the difference, right? That one is a little shorter, closer by, one is a little farther away. I think that is such a good question, because what we always have to be careful of with the subconscious mind is that, and I always encourage everyone, have big, bold goals, right? But when a goal is too bold and too far away and your subconscious mind can't yet grasp it, it could become a little bit of a self-defeating exercise, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're the only one who will know, right? You're the only one who will know. And as long as your end scenes are aligned, what you don't want is stuff that's pulling you in opposite directions,
Mm-hmm.
right? As long as they're aligned, I think you can mix it around and make it more fun and interesting for yourself.
Wonderful. And maybe have different music depending on the end
Yes.
scene. I love it. I love it. All right. I've checked the chat. Nothing has come in so far, but I'm sure once we are seeing replays, questions are going to come in. So Stephanie and I will be in there answering any questions as they come in about today. But Elisa, Claire, do you have anything that you'd like to ask Stephanie while we have her here? This is such a gift.
This was really, yeah, this was really inspiring. And, one thing that I struggle with is actually that negative spiral. And unfortunately, visualizing the negative outcome. So it's maybe my question is, do you have any suggestions on how to slowly kind of retrain myself at changing my perspective? Like, do you have any, exercises or, anything?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the very first thing, is it Elisa? Elisa, I think the first thing is awareness, right? You've got the awareness, you're here, you're aware of that negative spiral. I used to have that too. I mean, I was the queen of negative spirals, okay? And I have dramatically changed my mental experience and my life experience. Okay, so I'm a living example of it's absolutely possible. So just know that your mental programming was created over, depending on your age, over decades, right? And so it's going to take a little time. It's going to take a little time. So I would say that awareness is number one. The second thing is the self-compassion. You must be very, very kind with yourself. Be very kind with yourself. Do not beat yourself up if the spiral downward keeps coming back. Just be very kind to yourself. Okay. And then do things like put little sticky notes up on your mirror, put little notes up by your computer, just anything you can do. Especially for me in the beginning, I had little sticky notes everywhere, because if we don't consciously remind ourselves, that subconscious programming runs so deep and it keeps us on autopilot. It's just going to keep pulling you back. Okay.
Thank you. And those sticky notes that you're suggesting, those would be with like positive messages.
Yeah. Positive messages like, keep going. I am capable. I am the CEO. All the positive things, just keep impressing that. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that I worked with a client on that really helped was they wrote up their email signature as though what it would be, not what it was, right? But what it would be. And they actually printed that, and obviously didn't have it in their email signature, but printed it as though it was like a new email from you as this person, right? As in this role, they printed it up and they had it all over. And that really helped them, to consciously be seeing regularly their desired title in print, right?
Yes.
Yeah. There's another thing. But yeah,
One
whatever
question.
for the sticky notes, whatever is resonating for you, it might be keep going in the beginning. It might be, and you'll start finding things that you're like, oh, that's something for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Claire, I'm sorry. Were you about to say something?
Yeah. Just one quick question. This has been awesome. And, I think, ask it is given. I've read books like that. And I think the visualization is so powerful. But I was just going to say, so right now I'm in a bit of a transition. And the good news is it's such a hot job market. And so I'm feeling overwhelmed talking to so many different companies. And so one of the things I've been trying to do is visualize, what do I want to do? Which direction should I go? Do I want to take on another really big, leadership responsibility? Do I want to do something smaller? So when I'm visualizing, I'm having a harder time saying this is exactly what I want, but it's like, I think I know how I want my life to feel, but I don't know exactly what job that is. So any recommendations as I'm trying to visualize, do I have to have the exact job I know, or is it more of okay to say I've got work-life balance and I feel challenged at work and I'm thriving and, and I don't have to say and that's as a leader or that's as this or,
Yes, Claire, you're absolutely right on. So as you're kind of sorting through what's your ideal, position in the corporate world, that you really zero in on the quality of life that you want, right? And also be sure that you're focusing on the amount of money that you want to be earning as well, right? I mean, going back to Tara, what we were just talking about a minute ago in terms of answering Alyssa's question, as you change your mental programming and you're visualizing, you could imagine seeing, in addition to the quality of life, seeing your monthly paycheck at that level that you want dropping into your bank account, right?
Oh, you're still loving the life you lead, right? Not that you're tied to your desk and miserable. Yeah, very much so, right? Money does not make you happy, but it can pull the yacht next to you. Money is like oxygen. We need it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Great question.
Love it.
Good.
Any other questions? Let me just check the chat one more time. Oh, it's
And
done. Yes.
Stephanie? Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry. If you could put the 5 steps in the chat, that would be awesome. I took notes, but
Yeah.
exactly.
Are you in Tara's Facebook group?
Yes, I am.
But you know what I'll do, since our Zoom call is going to end in a minute, what I'll do is I'll type them into
Beautiful.
into the comments.
And that way they're
Facebook.
there. That's perfect.
Okay.
That is
Perfect.
great.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Thanks,
Yeah.
Claire, for joining. I know she has to drop off. Well, before we close today, Stephanie, where can people find you? Where can these amazing women that we work with find more of amazing you?
Yeah. So actually the best place, Tara, just like you, is my private Facebook group. It's called Success Mindset Series. That is the best place to find me, probably where I'm the most active, but I'm also on LinkedIn and in the process of a website change. So I'm not going to give that right now, but LinkedIn.
I've been doing that for 9 months, so I understand. Yeah. All right. Websites aren't all they're cracked up to be. All right. Wonderful.